Hey, what's up YouTube? This will be my first motovlog. Gonna go for a quick ride. What the fuck? What happened to my bike? Hey, what's up guys? This is ThinMrSo. And this is my first ever video vlog. As you can see, I'm not on a real bike. It's outside, torn apart. Alright, so a month and a week ago, I had this bright idea. Fly back to California from Hawaii, where I currently live, buy a bike and take a road trip across the United States to New York and back. I finished everything I had to do in Hawaii. So then I ended up calling the guy I was going to buy a bike from. He came to the airport, picked me up. Turned out he was a cop. And I bought the bike from him, staying with a buddy and riding the bike around town, putting a lot of miles on it. I put about 600 miles on it. And I was supposed to start my trip in 2 weeks after I landed here in California. It's been about a week. But the bike randomly died on me and made a bunch of grinding noise after I just bought this thing. Now I'm in the process of getting it fixed, which I'm doing myself. I just ordered some parts and waiting for them to come. Alright, so my idea was to get on this bike and take a road trip across the United States. I'm starting California and take Route 66 all the way up to Oklahoma actually, and from Oklahoma up to South Dakota, hit up Sturgis, never been there, and then I'm probably gonna backtrack. It's only 900 miles out the way, back to Oklahoma and continue up Route 66 and pulling off random places, but mostly follow Route 66 up all the way to Chicago. Then from Chicago I'll probably follow the Great Lakes around, and thought about going to Canada, but that means I'm gonna have to get my passport, so I don't know if I'm gonna do that. But then go up to New York, hit up all the states up there, and then from there follow the coast down to Florida, and then wrap around towards Texas and back into California. During the whole trip I'm gonna be camping most of the time, stopping at camping areas. So my idea is to vlog the whole trip, give me something to do. And yeah, so I'm just gonna ride, and I plan on filming the whole entire trip. Every time I get on the bike and start the bike, I'll start filming and making daily vlog videos at the end of each day when I find a spot to camp. So my whole trip, I'm hoping, is going to last about 6 months. So yeah, I know you could cross the United States in 7 days on a bike, but I plan on staying in certain spots for a couple weeks at a time. And like Yellowstone, I want to camp there for a couple weeks. Grand Canyon, stay there for a week or two. Just make the trip really long. It's a vacation. So back to my bike. This is my bike. So I was riding down the street, and out of nowhere the bike started making this grinding noise. Whoa. Whoa. I'm coming to a stop, and then when I get to the stop, it's dead. Oh, what the hell? That's what I'm thinking, and go to try to start the bike, doesn't want to start. And then, so I push it off to the gas station. Luckily that was right there, we're at a red light. And this is where the bike sits now. It's a 2005 FJR1300. Has slightly high miles, but overall the bike was in really good, excellent condition. Tires had like 600 miles on it. I mean, it's stock exhaust, not all dinged up or nothing. Like, it was, it's been dropped, but standstill drop. So bought the bike for $3,000 and been riding it around town a lot. In about 5 days, put between 600 to 700 miles on it, and trying to putting it through its paces before I take off on my trip. And luckily, it did, not luckily, but it did break down while I'm still here in town, not halfway across the United States or somewhere in the desert or something. So what happened was, I initially thought I had a valve tick, and within it went from no noise to slight valve tick noise to got worse and worse, and it sounded exactly like a valve tick noise. Took it down to Clausen Motorsports, a local motorsports place, and had a mechanic look at it. He said, "Oh, don't even worry about it. They're noisy bikes. You got a little high miles on it, so it's no problem." Well, the very next day, I'm worried about this thing. I'm about to drive this thing maybe 10,000 miles, and I was going to get a valve job done on it. He's like, "No, it's not worth it. Don't worry about it." And so I'm okay. Well, the very next day, funny because it happened just right when I was in front of Clausen's, but the following day, coming up to the red light right there, the bike dies. And so I start tearing it apart. I'm thinking I have a valve that something came loose or popped on because it's making this grinding noise and all this weird stuff going on. So I start tearing the bike apart, pull off all the top stuff, the fill rail, get everything out the way, pull off the valve cover, and I'm looking at it. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. Everything looks fine. So at that point, I decide to pull, there's a little side plug right there on the side case, so I could get the wrench in there and start turning the motor over so I could see what's going on. Well, as I was doing that, as I turn the motor over, nothing happens. So then I'm like, whoa, what the heck? So I think maybe I have a strip gear or something. I pull off this case, and no, my gear's in there. They're all fine. Everything's good. So then I'm turning it, and I notice a huge amount of slack. Oh, can't tell right now. Huge amount of slack inside the chain. Let's see. Like, a huge amount of play. So then I decided to pull off the tensioner, and sure enough, the thing's all the way compressed back. I screw it out, and I can sit there and play with it with my hand, and it goes all the way back in. So that's where I'm currently at. My bike is all torn apart, and I ordered the part through Clausen's, of course, and it should be here in 3 to 5 days. That was 2 days ago, so fingers crossed. Get my parts tomorrow. What I did, I ended up ordering a new chain and a new tensioner, just because this thing has spun on there. The gear, I checked it out really well. The gear's perfect, not a mark on it, but I don't want there to be some kind of hairline crack or something in my chain. So I mean, it was 160 or 180 or something like that, and so I went ahead and ordered that, and ordered the CCT. So I'll get those on. Hopefully the bike fires up, everything's good, and continue on with this trip.